They say the hardest journey a man will ever take is not the thousands of miles he walks with his feet, but the few inches between his mind and his heart. Meet Kael. Look at his face. What do you see? You see a man who has carried the weight of the world for far too long. His boots are worn thin, but his spirit is thinner. For years, Kael has chased every dream, knocked on every door, and climbed every mountain society told him to climb. Yet here he is, standing in the middle of a barren wasteland, feeling like an empty vessel, feeling like a failure. Have you ever felt that way? That no matter how hard you try, you are simply ordinary, just another piece of dust in the wind. Kael believed the lie. He believed that because his life looked broken on the outside, he was worthless on the inside. He was searching for something, anything, to tell him he mattered. He heard whispers of an ancient temple hidden deep within these jagged peaks, a place not for the rich or the powerful, but for the lost. They called it the sanctuary of the silent truth. And with his last ounce of strength, Kael pushed forward, not knowing that he was about to face a truth that would shatter everything he thought he knew about himself. As Kael approached the heavy stone doors of the temple, a question echoed in the wind. If everything you owned was taken away today, what would be left of you? Stay with me, because what Kael found inside that temple wasn't a chest of silver or a crown of thorns. It was a mirror to a soul that had forgotten its own brilliance. The shell is about to break, and the gold is about to be revealed. Kael stepped into the main hall, his eyes struggling to adjust to the flickering candlelight. He had expected grandeur. He had expected walls lined with jewels or an altar that radiated light. But all he found was dust and silence. In the center of the room stood a massive statue, but it wasn't a beautiful god or a majestic king. It was a hulking figure made of crude, blackened clay, cracked, stained, and weathered. It looked fragile, as if a single touch would crumble it into nothingness. At the base of the statue, an old monk knelt, gently brushing dirt from the crevices of the clay. Kael watched with a confusion that quickly turned into bitterness. "I came all this way for this?" Kael shouted, his voice bouncing off the cold stone walls. "I searched for wisdom, I searched for hope, but you spend your days worshipping a hideous lump of mud? This statue is trash, it's broken, just like my life." The monk did not stop. He was so still, it seemed as though he heard nothing. Without looking up, he spoke with a voice that sounded like the smooth shifting of ancient stones. "Young man," he said, "the human eye is often the greatest enemy of the soul. You see cracked clay, and you call it trash. You see your life full of scars, and you call it failure. But understand this. This clay is not the statue. This clay is merely its clothing." The monk stepped closer to the ugly, dark figure. "The world is harsh, Kael, and sometimes we must wrap something precious in something rough, just so it can survive in a cruel place. But today, the protector has become a prison. It is time to see what lies beneath the cracks." The monk raised the wooden mallet. Kael stepped back, his breath catching in his throat. In his mind, he saw a reflection of his own life, something fragile about to be struck, something broken about to be shattered completely. "Stop," Kael whispered, but the word was drowned out by the first strike. The sound echoed through the hall like a gunshot. A jagged line appeared across the statue's chest. The monk did not flinch. He struck again and again. Pieces of black, dry mud began to rain down onto the stone floor, exposing nothing but darkness underneath. Kael's anger vanished, replaced by a terrifying awe. Beneath a large shard of falling clay, a spark ignited. It wasn't a trick of the light, it was a reflection. The monk worked with a feverish precision now, peeling away centuries of grime and protective earth. As the heavy shell crumbled, the room began to glow. The flickering candles were suddenly outmatched by a brilliance that seemed to come from another world. Kael fell to his knees. He wasn't looking at mud anymore. He was looking at gold. Pure, solid, shimmering gold. The statue wasn't a lump of clay. It was a masterpiece that had been hiding in plain sight, disguised as a beggar to survive a war that ended long ago. "Why?" Kael choked out, his voice thick with tears. "Why hide such beauty under something so ugly?" The monk put down his tools and looked at the golden face of the statue. "Because, Kael, if the world knew it was gold, they would have torn it apart piece by piece long ago. The clay kept it safe. But the danger of the clay is this. If you wear the mask for too long, you eventually forget that there is a king underneath." We are all born as gold, but as we grow, the world starts to throw handfuls of clay at us. Every time someone told you you weren't good enough, a layer of clay was added. Every time you failed and let shame take over, the shell grew thicker. The clay is your ego, your fear of judgment, your excuses, and the lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable. We become so used to the weight of our masks that we start to believe the mask is our face. We forget that the clay is just a temporary shield, not our permanent identity.
Kael walked out of the temple that morning, but he was not the same man who had entered. The mountains were just as steep, the path was just as long, and he still had nothing in his pockets. But he carried something far more valuable than coin. He carried the knowledge of his own substance. He realized that the obstacles ahead weren't there to stop him. They were the very tools he would use to keep the clay from ever hardening again. When you know you are gold, you no longer fear the fire. You welcome it, because fire only serves to make gold shine brighter.